Hey, good evening. Welcome to the Brew. This is the Witches Brew on TIBN. We're an hour early tonight, Central Time, because we wanted to try something different. So I don't know what time this will get out to most everybody, but we'll see how it works. You have myself, Miss TJ, and we have Miss Baby Doll. And of course we have our producer John sitting over there. I think he's telling us we're number one again. Yeah, see that? Yeah. Thank you, honey. I love you too. Us. Well, before we get started, we're going to post that. We hope you support the following groups that we support, which is TUF, Truckers United for Freedom. Check that page out. There's always different things happening. Solving Roads with Ron Stinson. Hi, Ron. I hope you're out there tonight. I hope you're doing okay. Truckers for Christ with Stephen Myers. We haven't heard from Stephen in a while. We hope to hear from you. Truckers Back the Blue with John G. Truckers 5 Mile with Robert Palm, and I know he's been very busy. We've had a few, God rest their souls, a few drivers that have passed this week and that are looking for help to get their families home. So if you can get in touch with him and help donate for him to get those fellow drivers home, that would be awesome. We have Trucks with Room to Spare with Shelley Conway, Real Woman in Trucking with Desiree Wood. Hey, Desiree. Thank you. We know you were very busy this week flying all over and still being such an advocate for all people in trucking, not just women, but you're really trying to make a difference. And we really appreciate that.
Well, she's sitting by a pool right now with them.
Okay, we're not talking about that part because that's hard work. That's harder work than having to deal with men in transportation.
Right.
I mean, let's face the facts. Sometimes it's really tough to sit there.
Yeah.
And of course, last but not least is Sherry Moore with She Trucking. Guys, go to her page. Women out there, even men, go to the page. Check it out. She's doing some great things. And we're just so proud to support those two, especially those two with women, real women in trucking. Not the fakes, the real women who are out there busting their butt and trying to make it go in a job that's really tough. And even the men out there who are giving it a good go, it's really hard right now. With everything going on, I mean, they're really having to struggle. Now, you can find us on YouTube, Spreaker, and Twitter. And I also have been sticking it on Telegram, which I didn't get the chance to do yet. Because our producer, he doesn't always listen very well. You know, sometimes he just thinks...
Telegram. What is that?
That's another... It's like... What do you call it? Twitter. It's like one of those. But there's a lot more people on Telegram. And if you go to Telegram, they do not censor you. Because I have said and put things out there that Facebook would have had me in jail.
Oh, whoa. I'm going to have to go check it out then.
Yeah. So check out Telegram. We put a lot out there. Now, one of my things tonight that I wanted to bring up from the American Trucker was drivers. There are a lot of drivers out there. Because I'm bringing this up because... well, maybe I'll go with this first. OIDA says, we're going to go with OIDA first tonight. It says the supply chain dysfunction is nothing new. Yeah, which we all know that. And most drivers really know why. But when OIDA and ATA and the government start asking real drivers, people that are out there actually doing the job, not the ones sitting, in a seat with their little suit on and they work from 9 to 5 and have an hour off for lunch, go home to their wives, have a life. Yep. Now, we're talking to drivers who are out on the road probably 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time, even day drivers who are working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, those are the real drivers that we should be asking what needs to be done in transportation. But, hey, you know how it goes. You know how they treat us. So, supply dysfunction is nothing new. Following October 13th, the White House meeting, OIDA calls for relief and reform to address detention, high turnover, and other issues plaguing the trucking industry. Oh, I wouldn't know. Really? Can you imagine? How many years have we been talking about this? I can't even imagine. I know John's been doing this for way over 15, and it's the same old crap.
Same old,
we told you so.
Yep.
That was basically the response from the nation's largest advocacy group for independent trucking following the summit. Okay? Because right now, as we all know, the current supply chain crisis that is jamming up container ports such as Los Angeles and Long Beach, and there's a lot on the East Seacoast too that's jammed up.
Yeah.
So supply chain issues have developed over the road hauling, causing material and supply shortage, and even slowing the delivery of food and other essentials to grocery stores.
We didn't do it.
Truckers have been working tirelessly to keep this country safe and productive throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. They have already been operating around the clock, but are often restricted by factors beyond their control, such as excessive detention time, the lack of readily available safe parking for their trucks. And, well, Tom Spencer, he did bring that up. He is the president and CEO of Owner-Operator Independent, and sent a statement issued, if you look at the video that came up of President Biden explaining why truckers can make more progress. I love this. I love this. Right? Truckers, are you all out there? I hope you're listening to this. If you're sitting in your truck. Our president explained why truckers can make more progress by being allowed to drive overnight and off-peak hours of AM and PM rush hours. Because wait for it, everybody, the roads aren't crowded. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will fix the supply chain.
So everybody's gonna, instead of cramming up the truck stops between 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Now y'all going to go to 3 p.m. to at least 3 or 4 a.m. So all the truckers are going to move to night shift now.
Because our president said that's going to fix the supply chain. Aren't we so lucky? We are so very lucky to have that as our president.
I know. I would have never thunk it. I'd have never thunk it.
You know something?
Thunk it, John?
John, when I was driving truck, I never drove those hours. I never drove off peak hours because I was going to tell you, this chick's asleep in the AM and the PM. It would be John driving those. John, were the roads crowded during those hours?
I've never known the roads not to be crowded except for during the recession. I mean, come on.
All right.
Okay. These problems must finally be addressed, and this administration hopes to implement any significant supply chain solutions. Most of what we are seeing is not a surprise to our members who have been plagued with dysfunction in the supply chain for decades. It is not realistic to expect the supply chain would suddenly operate efficiently on a 24/7 schedule when drivers aren't being paid for their time. That's a biggie right there. Drivers are not being fully paid for their time. Okay.
And that's something Desiree Wood is also working on.
Yes,
She's been working on some of that this week. She's discussing that.
She's out there working hard.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to get us our money for sitting there.
Now, Awada's comments came after our president called for a 24/7 supply chain operations ahead of the holiday shopping season, joined by executive directors of the ports of Los Angeles, Long Beach during a White House summit. Biden announced that after weeks of negotiations, the ports will operate 24/7 to help speed up the deliveries of goods across America. This is the first step toward moving our entire freight transportation and logistical supply chain nationwide to a 24/7 system. Biden said, I have to be honest with you, I've never known not to be a 24/7. If anybody out there,
I'll tell you what.
If anybody out there knows anything besides a 24/7 system, can you send it to us? Because
I think he was talking about the ports that would close down at certain hours and stuff.
Well, but still, the drivers are still going in there and picking up chassis 24/7.
I'll tell you what, you want a 24/7. You just get rid of them hours of service rules for good. We'll have a 24/7 system.
We can't even talk about hours of service because as drivers, we don't know any better than we need them to decide that for us.
Well, I just read somewhere in some kind of executive order or somewhere today or yesterday.
Wait a minute. I'm waiting for old Pete to get back to work to let us know what's, he is the secretary.
He was in session last week doing something.
Oh, no. He was there for an hour because he was still on paternity leave. He had to go home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. That's it. Yeah, we're not talking about that.
That is a whole other ballgame.
Imagine if he actually won the presidency.
Oh, my God. He would have to take 9 weeks off to have a baby.
Sorry, guys. We're just going to have to shut down the country for 3 months. So I'm on paternity leave.
My surrogate had twins, so yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, you also know by increasing... So 40% of the shipping containers in the U.S. come through Los Angeles. Okay, in Long Beach, Biden was told. Traditionally, U.S. ports have been open during the week, Monday through Friday, but usually closed down at nights and on weekends. But trucks are still going in and out. But we won't tell him that secret. By staying open 7 days a week, through the night and on the weekends, the ports will be open for the extra 60 hours per week. Who's going to pay all those drivers? I keep forgetting that part. I keep forgetting men need to be paid. And those guys working, they already make $250,000. A longshoreman makes between $200,000 and $250,000 a year. Okay? Do you think he gives a shit if he's working overtime? That means he's going to make more money. What about that driver that's been sitting out there for 8 hours waiting for them to get loaded? Because we all know how longshoremen can be. If you tick them off, you're in the back of the line. But we won't tell Biden that because he won't understand that.
Yeah.
So this means an increase in the hours for workers to be moving cargo, right? And onto trucks and rail cars to get to their destination, the president said. And more than that, the night hours are critical for increasing the movement of goods because highways are less crowded at night. Sleepy Joe, are you even up at night? So by increasing the number of late night hours of operation and open for less crowded hours when the goods can move faster, today's announcement has potential to be a game changer. I say potential because all these goods won't move by themselves. Biden also announced that, Walmart's, the nation's largest brick-and-mortar retailer, is committed to moving its products 24/7. Okay, I can't help but laugh because I know the D.C. is open 24/7 here in Raymond, New Hampshire.
The thing about it is, it's so full of shit because Walmart... their drivers, a lot of their stuff is lot to lot or
it's DC to
DC. So the load itself does run 24/7 already. They just drop and hook the trailers and different drivers pick them up, take them all to the destination. Hello.
Hey, Bill. Nice to see you tonight. And William and Jay Bird. Hi, Cynthia. Hey, Chippy, it's glad to see that you're watching. Thank you for my cousin sends me these wonderful things in the morning. I can't really say them on air because it's really good. But if anybody goes to Rumble, take a good listen. He's really up to date on
anything. We got a first-time listener, my cousin Cynthia Johnston's on tonight.
And that's my cousin right under her. With the impressive name.
Mark.
No, Aunt Arthur. We call him Chippy. Biden announced that Walmart, okay, what it's going to be is committing as much as 50% increase in the use of off-peak hours. And who's going to pay those employees? I hope they're going to get overtime, but we'll see. Additionally, FedEx and UPS have committed to increase the amounts of goods that they are moving at night. Biden said, according to one estimate, FedEx and UPS will move out to 40% of packages in America. And other companies, Target, Home Depot, and Samsung, have committed to ramp up their activities to utilize off-peak hours. This is what he says. I want to be clear. This is an across-the-board commitment to going to 24/7, Biden said. This is the first big step in speeding up the movement of materials and goods through our supply chain. But right now, we need the rest of the private sector to step up as well. How was the private... I don't get it. I mean, Sleepy Joe, okay?
I'm sorry. How many FedExes and UPS trucks do we already see at night going down the road looking like a fishtail with the back trailer? They hauling it already in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's always. Spencer, Elijah Spencer, he pointed out in recent months that the global supply shortages have forced some truckers off the road. Drivers are experiencing the domino effect of nationwide supply and staffing shortages, which are preventing them from complying with federal regulations. Example includes drug and alcohol testing delays, difficulties finding replacement electronic logging devices, which should be shut off now, DEF filters, and CPAP machines. We encourage the U.S. Department of Transportation and other agencies to begin making some emergency allowances to keep safe, qualified drivers in business. But let's be clear. The current supply chain crisis is not due to a shortage of truck drivers because the real bottleneck is the supply chain occur at pickup and delivery points. Adding more trucks and drivers will simply make the lines longer, not faster.
That's
Every
true.
region of our country and segment of our economy relies upon long-haul truck drivers, and it's time that both the government and the trucking industry began treating them as essential workers. We support the administration to improve the quality of trucking jobs, but this must start with value and compensating all of drivers' time. Biden reiterated the strength of the nation's supply chain will continue. If federal support is needed, I will direct all the appropriate action, and the private sector doesn't step up, we're going to call them out and ask them to act. Well, Mr. President Biden, tell Mr. Pete Buttigieg, whatever his name is, I never can remember because it's not important to me, because he won't be here very long, I'm sure.
Ain't none of them very long, like a year, maybe.
And then there's another thing came up after this came out, because since the pandemic ended our economy, most drivers have found new work outside large fleets. Though large for hire carriers have similar labor pools from which they hire, smaller carriers might only survive with spot markets are high. There is a truck driver shortage. There's always some type of shortage, obviously, but there's a reason for the shortages. I got to tell you, why would a man want to go, especially during the pandemic, when all of a sudden, if you collected unemployment, you got an extra $500 to $800 a week. Mm-hmm. So why should a driver go out on the road where they shut down the rest areas? They gave them porta potties, no toilet paper, no hand sanitizer. So thank you, the U.S. government, for shutting that all down. All the restaurants were closed. Very few stores were open. They could fuel, but they couldn't go inside.
And we had to fight like hell just to get a food truck up in the damn rest area.
Just to
we could eat.
So you tell me, what would you do? Would you park your truck and collect that $1,300 a week? Or would you get out there and live like...
Yeah, and they was giving out that PPE like it was freaking Christmas presents.
Prisoners, made out better than a truck driver. Yeah. And now, you want, since you got rid of the PPE, the PPE, you don't have to use the PPE, but hopefully you're still washing your hands and taking care of yourself. Now they want to mandate a truck driver to have a shot. Well, let me think. You had March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and January. When did the truck come on? January. So you're talking almost 10 months where a driver didn't have to do anything. They had to wear a mask if they went in a store. But now you're going to mandate a shot on them. So there's another reason why. There you go, Mr. President. Mandating a shot on essential employees, nurses, doctors, anybody, teachers, anybody that's essential. Truck drivers are the most essential, because I got to tell you, if people go to Walmart and they can't buy their little crap, they're not happy. Am I right?
Right.
If anybody has a comment on that.
I can live without materialism, just for the record.
Oh, because you make me buy it?
No, I just live without materialism. If I don't absolutely need it, if we're talking about socks and underwear, okay, I need it. But, frivolous things, they can keep their Chinese-made crap. I don't care.
No, I know. But, people do want, they want, a truck driver can't go on strike. Okay, that has been known. That's like so wrong to me. When any other faction of industry in this world, they can strike. Truck drivers can't.
Why not?
No, because they
can. Nobody can force you to work. If a truck
nobody can force you to
work,
but let me tell you how many. You never see it happen ever since who.
Oh, that's just a lack of organization. Truck drivers, there's just so many truck drivers running through like a revolving door. Just trying to get the word out there. Time when you get the word out there, 3-4 months later, when you finally go into strike, only 10% of them heard about it.
Right.
Well, I was a little upset because I read an article the other day, and right now, the numbers in New Hampshire of people dying from COVID, it's not the unvaxxed, it's the vaxxed. So I'm just praying for all my families and friends who have taken the vaccination that they stay healthy. Right. But it's looking like it's not. They've had a few countries already that have stocked the vaccinations because they're having the same issues. There's more vaxxed than unvaxxed. But unfortunately, in our country, we don't always tell the truth. I just can't believe that.
I know. How dare y'all be such liars?
Such liars.
God!
It's terrible. But the good Lord will prevail on all of us. People get upset because we call ourselves the witches. It's just fun and games. And there's
Well, Like I said,
we
want
love our
Facebook.
Lord, our God, and guess what?
Yeah.
Everybody else falls in the line behind that.
See, I go to
Sorry,
jail
Joe.
every time I say the B word, so we had to come up with a W word.
Yeah, we go to Facebook jail a lot.
I can't say the B word.
Well, there was something else that happened this week. FedEx, talking about Biden going after FedEx.
No.
A former FedEx manager stole more than $3.25 million in goods. This happened in Baltimore. A Delaware man who stole goods worth that much while working at a FedEx facility has been sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for interstate transportation of stolen goods and tax evasion. Prosecutors...
3 years.
I know. How come only 3 years? Man, I'd probably get the book thrown at me.
Hell, I had a bitch rob a bank that came in and only got 3 years.
Man, I'm in the wrong business. I think
I know, right?
I think I can stick out in jail for a few years.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have to cook. I might have to do a cleaning job or something, but...
Oh, you'd have to cook.
Oh, shit.
You'd have to cook.
That would be my vibe.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got some great jailhouse recipes now. We did good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, this senior manager at the Seaford FedEx facility admitted to taking packages and reselling the items to co-defendant Sarah Shala for about 50% of their retail price between 2009 and 2019. According to his plea agreement, Kuta would taken stolen items to a relative of Shala's in Maryland. Kuta received more than $1.8 million in illegal proceeds. In 2018, Kuta also started taking packages from FedEx trailers loaded for delivery to the beach store. Prosecutors said he'd go to the facility when the employees weren't there and turn off the lights and block cameras to avoid being seen. He admitted to evading more than $660,000 in taxes. Wow. He gets 66 months in prison on charges of conspiracy, interstate transportation of stolen goods, and tax evasions. Both him and his little pal. Unbelievable. That's all they
I
get.
wonder if they confiscated all that stuff he stole.
Well, I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I hope it wasn't something I ordered. I hate when I order something and I pay for it and then I have to chase it down for years.
Well, you're Prime and Amazon and you good.
I'd rather shop online than I went into Walmart's today and I hated it because there's no workers. So,
I know.
It takes you forever to get out of there and I just don't want to waste my time. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, and if you know you're going to be out in a week, hell, you can order everything and have it sent right to the house. You ain't even got to go nowhere.
Well, this week, Biden also did something else.
Oh, my God.
Besides, put his finger on a little girl, but I won't say where. Biden recommends new highway safety chief. A new highway safety chief. Yay! Where's a little clap in there, John? A former California pollution and this is where he's from. This isn't from Detroit. A former California pollution regulator is being nominated to run the nation's highway safety agency at a time when highway deaths are on the rise. President Joe Biden has announced his intention to nominate Stephen Cliff, who has served as the Deputy Administrator of the National Highway Safety Administration since February, to become the agency's administrator. If confirmed by the Senate, Cliff would take over the agency at a crucial juncture. Highway deaths are rising. Battery electric vehicles are upending the auto industry. The vehicle automation is spreading into more models. In other words, people, if you haven't heard, when you're going to be riding down the highway someday, you're going to look at that tractor trailer that's right in front of you or on the side of you or behind you.
And it won't have nobody in it.
Nobody will be there. But that's okay because you know something? The government does know better. They think it's going to be okay when a truck has, 80,000 pounds and doesn't stop and doesn't realize, only sees your car as a little block.
They are doing TikToks in Tesla cars.
I know.
You see that shit?
I did see that.
They're going, this is what I'm doing in my Tesla. And
You didn't even get into some of the issues like platooning.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Well, anyways, as of last year, only half of the crashes involved unbelted drivers of occupants, okay? It said a total of 4,119 people died in large truck crashes in 2019. 16% of those deaths were truck occupants, 67% were occupants of cars and other passenger vehicles, and 15% were pedestrians, bicyclists, or motorcyclists. The number of people who died in large truck crashes were 31% higher in 2019 than in 2009, when it was the lowest. Let me think. What was in the vehicles in 2009? And what's in the vehicles in 2019? Something that's distracting. A freaking ELD in the computers that they have in trucks now.
Yeah.
So when you're driving a vehicle, I hate to say this, and right to your right hand side, you have a computer, or on the chair next to you a computer. Beep 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 beep. You have to look at it. You take your eyes off the road. You can't help it. It's human nature. Why they would do that, I don't know.
What was that, Morse code?
That was Morse code. Beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Well, and here's another little slow up for Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Police Department has reported it's keeping a close eye on traffic in the city's Wilmington neighborhood after a shipping container fell from a moving truck onto a parked vehicle. Pancake in it. No injuries were. It's not funny.
Did you just... She said pancake in it. Did y'all hear that shit? Oh, my God.
That will flatten the car. I'll tell you what, there's nothing to crush a car like a loaded
It's did. It's pancake in it. It's what it did. No injuries reported. That's why I'm chuckling. I'm chuckling because whoever put that container on that truck, I wonder if he's the one who only makes $200,000 a year.
I don't know.
The incident comes as hundreds of trucks are entering and exiting the port to help ease the backlog of goods. Dozens of cargo ships are anchored off the coast, waiting to unload at the cloggiest port. Many residents around the port have put up signs redirecting truck traffic around their neighborhood streets. Okay, that's going to make it go faster to get out of the port.
There is an issue right there, though, that should be mentioned, is when you get in a hurry in trucking, accidents do happen. You get in a hurry, you put a container on that chassis and forget to lock it in. You might drop a chassis and pancake a car.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at this truck. I kept trying to get over here and look at this truck. That truck ain't in much better shape. Look how that damn bumper's about to fall off.
I know.
Ain't no telling who the fuck was driving it. They look like nobody.
I know. Well, anyway, so as you know, truck drivers, please be careful, because we don't need you going around pancaking, okay?
I look down, he's got a damn...
And now, if you're over in Georgia, the DPS shut down dozens of truckers during the safety sweep. Because not only do you have to get somewhere quickie, but those cops will pull you over. Mm-hmm. The DPS issued 329 traffic citations and placed 81 drivers and 58 commercial vehicles out of service during a safety crackdown in October. Officers of the DPS Motor Carrier Compliance Division monitored CVM traffic for aggressive driving, speeding, following too closely, failing to wear safety belts, distracted driving, and driving under the influence, according to the news release. These efforts help secure CMV drivers, follow federal and state regulation, including hours of service compliance, commercial driver license compliance, medical certification, and commercial vehicle accreditation, the news release stated. So, guys, this guy, Lisa Hill writes, she sends this thing to me, she says, these states keep this shit up. Who will be delivering the food, the medical supplies? Who will be delivering everything that you people need? There's hundreds of thousands of containers that are in port or in the ocean. Who will be there today, tomorrow, next week? Who's going to get out to take this? And truck drivers are constantly being harassed, trying to do their job, trying to bring stuff to everybody. This went to court. In Cleveland, an Ohio federal court has struck down an argument that commercial truckers should be held to a higher standard of care on road because they are professional drivers. Sorry, I have to laugh at that. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it used to be.
Yep. Okay, in Quinty versus Intermet Transport, which was decided in September, that the Northern District of Ohio attorney for the plaintiff agreed that the CDL manual and the trucking company's safety handbook generate a heightened safety standard for a truck driver. The court disagreed. The civil case involves the estate of Matthew, who died after his car was rear-ended by an 18-wheeler in 2017 along Interstate 71 in Ohio. Kendry had stopped his vehicle in the far right lane of the interstate and turned off the lights. Okay, that's a little dangerous right there, according to court documents. Additionally, the Ohio State Parole found that Kendry's had a suspended driver's license because of repeated DUI offense and tox report noted that his blood alcohol content was more than 3 times the legal limit.
Wow.
The truck driver for intimate transport was he was from Canada, was not cited in this crash. But the County State argued that the CDL manual advises commercial drivers to have a plan to take evasive measures when confronted with hazard and to use the right shoulder if necessary to avoid a collision. An expert for the plaintiff said the person was negligent for failing to comply with these portions of the CDL manual. No, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, Judge. Because if you're in a parked car and you're on the highway and you pull over, you have no lights on, you have nothing, and it's dark out on some of those highways, there's no lights out there. Now, if the driver has to, if you're going down the road and there's a semi on one side of you and he's coming up on you pretty fast and you just edge over to the right a little bit because you don't, he's speeding or whatever, all of a sudden you come up on that car with no lights. I mean, it's an accident. There's no one at fault. He shouldn't have been sued. I don't think you should have been. I don't know. Good thing I wasn't judging that.
Right.
My next thing, this wasn't about trucking. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I am just getting a little bit tired of all the, how am I going to put that? People are complaining about having to, please, go get your shot, go get your shot, go get your shot, go get your shot, go get your shot. Well, there's a lot of people who medically cannot get the shot. There's a lot of people religiously do not want to get the shot because what they're finding out that's in the shot. I would like to respect everybody's wishes on that. I think that's the most important thing to do. I think Jai wants to go out. And, did you hear him? Jedi's talking to you right there. The dog is talking to I think he wants to go out. So he said, so anyways, I was having this conversation with somebody. And in the 8 months of last year, 10 million abortions were given in this country. How many people died of COVID? 500,000. But unfortunately, as the CDC has now come out and said, and the NIH has come out and said, they have miscalculated on those deaths. It's nowhere near as high as they said. So, if you think about it, I mean, I know there's people out there that have had abortions, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying anything like that. But as you know, the new campaign right now, it's the anti-abortioners have gone to the Supreme Court because they're highlighting the actual death toll for abortions, and it's that's pretty high if you think about it. 10 million babies.
Right.
That's not even a full year. That wasn't even a full year, so I can't even imagine what it is, and it just bothers me.
Yeah.
On this, it also has a particular emphasis in New York, Washington, and Jackson, Mississippi. 2,360 is a figure based on an estimate by them of the 862,000 abortions just done. Well, I'll say 863,000 abortions just done back in 2000. That was 2017's count. Lily Rose, she's an active president. She stated in a heartbreaking to look at the tragedy in the face. Okay? She roses the narrative of a graphic description of how 2,360 lives are killed through abortion. She said this can happen by forcibly miscarrying the fetus or starving them with nutrients. I think if people really understood on this issue, I mean, I get it. I understand. I've known people who have had abortions, and it was the right thing for them. But I have to tell you, after, I don't even know. I have to tend to agree after there's a heartbeat that is a living soul. I do not think that abortions should be readily available to someone that is 7 and 8 months pregnant because they have decided they do not want to have a child at this point. I know there's women that have had them, but I also know because there was no spine. I mean, there was medical issues that child would not be a child. That child would not be. I mean, I can understand. I mean, I think there's. I think there's should be. It shouldn't just be cut and dried. I think that that should be besides a woman and her doctor, and not just the woman. It should be a husband. If she's married, it should be the husband's choice too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should be the man's choice too, because that is his child. And then men aren't even being asked, because women always say, "My choice, my body." But I think if people understand how they do these abortions for late term abortions, I think a lot of people would be sick. Absolutely sick. It actually breaks my heart, because they have to break the baby up into sections to bring them out. Mm. They tear their limbs from their torso. They inject their brains. They give them lethal injections. I mean, that is why people fight so hard for some of these issues, because if you knew how awful it really is and how heartbreaking it is, if you don't want that child, trust me, there's so many people that want babies so damn bad and can't have them. They should make adoption cheap. It shouldn't be a money maker for an attorney or for anybody else in this matter. But when people ask me what my stance on abortion is, I said, well, I really feel it's between husband and wife and the doctor. I know friends that have kids that most people would have aborted them because they didn't want to take care of them. Because, let's face it, today people are really selfish.
Right.
So, you want to just open that door? He's really struggling. So, my poor dog is struggling to get out of the studio. He's in the studio with us. So, I don't know. So, next time people think, teach your children. Oh, gave up. You know, try to teach your children. This is 2021. There's so much birth control out there. There's the morning after pill. There's everything somebody can take. This should not have to be an issue, and this should not be an issue that's politicized. You know, I'm very angry over the fact that when Pelosi went to see the Pope, this issue wasn't discussed. I feel that was the biggest letdown between the Pope and anybody else. That should not have taken place. I don't think anybody should be having that control over any of us medically. So when somebody, you know, when people are saying, my body, my choice, and then when someone says it about the vax, they say that, well, if you're not vaccinated, you could kill somebody. I hate to tell you, right now, I think a lot of unvaxxed people are thinking, oh, you're vaccinated? Oh, I better watch out for you because you could be giving it to me.
I got to tell you, I don't want to take the vaccine strictly because I don't trust the government. I don't trust them to be certain that it's going to be safe to use. I don't trust. I mean, when they give an exemption to these people that they can't be sued if there's adverse outcomes because of the vaccine, I'm thinking, I don't want that in my body. I'm sorry, but that's just my conscientious choice.
Well, and you should have your choice. Everybody should have their choice. But I think when it comes to this choice, it's an individual choice. And that's when I was like, about abortions. But unfortunately, we have to, it's hard to say, my choice, my body. I mean, on the vaccination, that's only hurting you. It's not hurting anybody else. And don't tell me that, oh, you could give me COVID. Are you kidding me? I've worked with kids for how long? Really? I had COVID. I got it right before they closed everything down from COVID. I was sick to death with it.
And by the grace of God, I haven't had it.
That is by the grace of God. We keep saying our prayers, but
yeah. That's what I say. I mean, I know the virus is real, but I think the government's got something bigger.
Well, I know the virus is real. I'm not saying the virus isn't real.
Right.
I'm saying this is the first time in 2 years we haven't had anybody die from the flu.
You brought up Nancy Pelosi earlier today, and I just wanted to bring forth an article from July 21st where Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone of San Francisco, the home archdiocese of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, has insisted that devout Catholics can't support abortion. Just after Pelosi had described herself in precisely those terms, he says, "Let me repeat, no one can claim to be a devout Catholic and condone the killing of human or innocent human life, let alone have the government pay for it." Cordileone Cordileone said in a statement.
Well, yeah. I get that. And I get that's how the church feels about it. You know, but I see.
So
I can.
Churches feel about it.
I can understand. I mean, I know a woman that she had to have one at 7 months because the child was dead. I mean, they spontaneously took it. I mean, the child was dead. It was born with no heart. Had no heart.
There's also
or half a heart. It was something. It was developed. It was really.
It was going to be a stillbirth. But
Yeah.
there's also something referred to as a natural abortion. I mean, like you said earlier,
yes.
malnutrition,
Always
things like
spontaneous
that.
abortions, yeah. And that happens a lot too, you know. But I can see. I mean, I get it is a personal choice, but I just think that everybody should know the facts. And I think a lot of people don't get the facts. I know that when women go to Planned Parenthood, they're not told the whole entire fact until after the fact, and that bothers me.
Well, it gets disgusting when Planned Parenthood is coercing or initiating that women should get abortions, and then they're using the fetal
fetuses,
remains for science. They sell it. They make money off it, and that's disgusting. They're profiteering off from aborting innocent human lives.
Exactly, and that upsets me. The other thing that I was really upset about is if everybody, I don't know how much is out there about Biden sending all these children and their families secretly by planes out of Texas at 2 or 3 in the morning, and we consider 2 or 3 in the morning in the middle of the night, okay? But if you're Jen Pizowski, you go, oh, that's really not the middle of the night. I don't know what the hell. What's the middle of the night now? I don't know, Jen, but I'm going to tell you, you're flying planes, commercial flights, or your private planes, and you're taking these families and you putting them into different parts of this country. What bothers me is a reporter followed a plane into New York. And what he did, and he took pictures, there were private cars waiting, and some of those single children were led to those cars and put in the back seat of these people's cars. I am just flabbergasted by that. Flabbergasted. Where's the check for these people? Where are these children going? It breaks my heart to think that these kids are being sold for the sex trade. Because if that was up and up, why would there be a single driver putting a single child in a car and that car takes off? Who's looking after that child?
Well, they
paperwork,
could be transporting it to a foster home, but just the same. Who
Excuse
transports
me?
a kid to a foster home at 2:30 in the morning?
Exactly. Well, actually, that does happen. I'm going to tell you right now, that does happen, okay? Because say when I was working in Volusia County, when I was working in the prison system, we had a mother and father shoot themselves. You know, there was a big fight with them. They each got a gun. They shot each other. Their kids in their home were taken. They couldn't reach any relatives, so they called an emergency foster home. But you know something? A police officer and that social worker goes to the house with paperwork. So you can't tell me, where's the paperwork on that child? Who did that child belong to? It wasn't just one child. It's a lot of children they're taking and they're placing in other. No, there's no paperwork. There's nothing on these kids.
Right.
They're taking them out. I mean, there are some families that are getting disposed, and there's all these other single children, and that worries me. That worries me. You know, President Biden, do the honorable thing. I'd rather see those kids sitting down in Texas in a cage than being driven off by people we don't know. Nobody knows. There's no follow-up. There's no paperwork. Nobody's asking any questions about what's happening to these children.
Right. Cash money deals.
But Trump had them all in cages. Yeah, when Trump had them in cages, you know what he was doing? He was doing DNA testing on these kids to see who they belonged to. And 75% of those kids that were brought here by coyotes, which were men and women who were bringing these kids for the sex trade. So Trump kept them until he could find out who they brought, and he sent them back to their parents.
Right.
So bullshit on just, doing nothing. Just hurry up, get them out, because guess what? We don't want anyone to see how bad this illegal immigration is. But we can do that to children. Americans, we go to bed at night. And what about that little child? No mom, no dad, nobody. And now he's with a stranger he doesn't know. I hope God helps those children. I hate to see them have to suffer. It really bothers me. And we're allowing that to happen. And we make our servicemen do things that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
To children, to women and children. This is absolutely disgusting. If you think for 1 minute that Joe Biden is your savior, that he's going to help America. I mean, we all know what he's been like for his whole political policy when it came to small children. And like he even said, I'd rather speak to kids than adults. Kind of scares me.
You mean he'd rather kids play with his hairy legs? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Did he say that?
You don't remember that?
No.
Joe Biden talked about how the kids love to play with the hair on his legs. And
What? Oh, God.
That was
stop.
way back.
Just stop it.
He was,
Stop it.
But all I'm saying
quite a
is,
mess.
people, I cannot believe when someone says, well, I voted for Joe. Really? Well, you just voted for, I don't even say it. You know what I'm thinking.
You know, somebody posted an article about Australian newspaper talking about Hunter Biden involved with pedophilia.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now they had his laptop and everything's on the up and up and everything's fine and there's no prosecution against Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
So that's what you're getting at is the sweeping it under the carpet for special people.
We need to Google this guy that you said was being nominated out of California. We need to see where his bloodline is. He's probably under Pelosi's bunch. I mean, every one of them's politicians born into it.
What's he being nominated for?
She told me.
Transportation.
Yeah, transportation.
In California?
Cliff, yeah. No.
No.
Oh, that's that guy. That's the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration.
Yeah, but
Well, I don't know.
he's got to be kin to Pelosi to be able to be nominated. I'm sure.
So far, most of Biden's appointees have been, thank God the senators have axed them. You know.
Yeah, but we don't need the California people running.
Yeah, he was involved with CARB and stuff out in California. CARB is, God, they're the EPA of California. They're the worst.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't need them being cheap.
As far as I'm concerned, at this point in time, with Hollywood being what it is, with California, I mean, it just, as far as I'm concerned, they cut the state off and floated out like a garbage barge. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see nothing good coming from there anymore.
Right.
Hollywood sucks. It absolutely, totally stinks anymore.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm just disappointed in the fact you're going to find out that there's a lot of pedophiles in the Hollywood scene.
Well, how do you think they control them?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm just sick of the fact that some of these movies that are coming out, they're absolutely disgusting. We're talking about morals for our kids. I mean, we grew up. We want to have some morals for our kids. I have 11 and 12-year-old kids who think it's okay. That kid was bothering me, so I just stabbed him with my pencil because he was bothering me. Really? This is what we're coming to? It's okay to hurt somebody else? Because, yeah, it's okay. My mom says, someone bothers me, I should do this or that. Okay. Good thinking here. Good coping skills we got going on. I get kids that surprise me when they'll say something to me about sex or something, and I'm like, honestly, I'm stunned. Because I think what 12 and 13-year-old kids should be into and what they're seeing is flooring me. You get all these people in Congress, oh, well, we got this and that, and like, really? Gun control, you want to know how to stop a lot of the shootings?
Get rid of the video games.
Get rid of the video games.
Mm-hmm.
All the video games that are violent, because I have to tell you, when I was teaching, and I said this before, in the prison system, I had a 15-year-old boy who shot a taxi cab driver in the head for $10, and he says to me, Mrs. G, it's just like playing a video game. No, there's no reset button for the guy that you just killed, who left a wife and 2 small kids, but I get,
Right.
I had one kid in my classroom one time, he says, I want to start a riot because I'm so stealth that I could actually beat up some of those National Guard guys. I said,
oh my God.
You're 13 years old. You're 5'1", you weigh probably 120 pounds. That's a grown man. Really? Stealth? He'll put you down in 10 seconds.
Right.
But they play these video games. They have this confidence about themselves because they win at these games. They are so desensitized. They're so violent. They're just so violent. It makes me sick when they show me pictures. Oh, look at this. I don't even watch scary movies. I don't even watch this stuff. Never mind.
I know. And
Never mind watching.
Your husband watches. Oh my God.
I know. John is terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bring on the mayhem. Bring on the killing. I just love it.
I know. Well, I don't know. But that's my thing. Next weekend, it's going to be Halloween, so we're going to come on early again because we decided. Yeah. We live down this hill, and kids can't walk down it because it's really dark and it's kind of creepy. Even though we have a few lights, it is kind of creepy. Did you hear that?
Mm.
It is kind of creepy. I don't know where it went. Did you hear it? We heard this weird sound. Hey, there's some weird stuff going on behind us. Are you doing that?
No.
Didn't we have a commercial? Wasn't somebody calling in?
Commercial. You wanted a commercial?
No. Well, I thought you said somebody was calling in, or well, something's going on.
Plans on Sean calling.
You're hearing things.
I must be. My headset must be hearing things inside.
Yeah. We're talking about Halloween and going up the street, and then all of a sudden she's hearing.
We played that last week. You want to play that again?
Yeah. Well.
How about you want the Acme Brewing Company ad?
Yeah, we have this guy that keeps calling us. It keeps calling me almost 3 or 4 times a day. How do I get that off? I didn't put block. Can't block him. Because if I block him, I block Facebook. Oh, maybe I should block Facebook.
Somebody's got to.
I'm probably going to get blocked because I say things I shouldn't say.
Of course, that's our only outlet right now. We got Spreaker and Facebook, YouTube.
Well, I go to Telegram. I post this on Telegram later, but Telegram doesn't block anything you say.
I know.
And Trump is going to have his up and coming, so everybody better sign on to Trump's network because that's going to kill Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg was in trouble. He lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's not doing too good.
Yeah, I see those ads for Trump's media thing, but there's so many scams. Man.
Oh no, this is his.
That's an issue. Zuckerberg's supposedly being investigated for election
fraud.
No, it's not fraud. It's like
he had his own. He had his own polls. He had his own like little mailboxes you could put ballots in.
Yeah, and I think he was doing this in foreign countries too, and they were basically, he's influencing elections or something, or basically like the Russians would have done, or the Chinese would have done.
Oh, you mean like the Russians did to Trump?
So.
Wow. No, because that was a lie. But...
Manipulation, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All right, hang on a second. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi, Gary. How are you? Hi, Rosemary.
This is the Acme Brewing Company.
Oh, here it comes.
I've called to offer an extended warranty for, I believe, Tracy owns one of our fine deluxe brooms. We offer a 3-year warranty extended for $295 a month.
Right.
If you want 4 years, it's $269.69. Yes, there's no mistake in those numbers. If you are interested, please call us back. And remember, at Acme, we're home of the famous Cannonball for Wile E. Coyote.
And don't forget, he didn't give out the phone number, but you got to call 1-800-FLY-HIGH.
He says that all the time. I get that all the time on my phone. Are you getting on your phone yet, Michelle?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a torment. It's like, okay. Why did I pick it up? But you know, the sad part is they use a different phone number every time.
Every single time.
That's why we can't block them.
You keep blocking the number, they find another one.
I know. It's irritating. But, we're going to cut it short tonight.
Yeah.
Because we have some planning to do because it is Halloween next week.
I know.
And I'm
the
hoping...
moon's going to be full this week, I hear.
I know. We should take out a telescope. So, everybody, you have a great week, And remember what Martin Luther King Jr. says. One has a moral responsibility to disobey unlawful laws or unjust laws. Okay? So, remember, believe in America, not the media.
My granddad said there's nothing scary